Hello class, this video is for activity 1 for our area and perimeter lesson. I'm going to be going over this Google Slides presentation about how to calculate area and perimeter, and after I briefly go over these formulas in this video, I want you to go over them on your own in detail, so I will briefly go over this with you. So what is area and perimeter? Area is the space inside of a shape. It's the amount of space that a shape covers. So area is inside of the shape and everything in a shape, but perimeter is only the distance around the outside. So that's very important to remember. To calculate the perimeter, it's the same for every single shape. You add all of the side lengths of the shape. In this example, we have 5 centimeters for each side. So you simply add those sides together and you get 20, which is the perimeter. So as I said, for perimeter, for every single shape, you add the sides together. So here you see a square again, you add the sides. A rectangle, you add the sides. You just have to recognize that the sides are labeled differently for each shape, which is important when memorizing the formulas. So a rectangle has a length and width. A rhombus has base and width. A triangle has sides A, B, and C. A trapezoid has sides A, base 1, base 2, and C. So you add the sides together for each of these shapes to get the perimeter. Now, to calculate the area, remember that area is the space inside of a shape rather than the space outside of the shape, so it's going to be a little bit different than perimeter. So for a rectangle, you multiply length times width. So these are simply memorizing the formulas again. Rhombus is base times height. Triangle is 1/2 base times height. And trapezoid, this one is important, it's 1/2 times height times the sum of base 1 plus base 2. So you don't want to forget those parentheses or your answer will not be correct. So please go over these slides on your own, read through everything that I've written until you understand it to your best ability.
Okay, next you are going to create some of your own practice problems using the information that I just went over. You are going to create 2 problems explaining perimeter of a shape and 2 problems explaining area of a shape. So I have put some examples in here, but I'm also going to show you how to use the tools to create your own problems. So here's an example of a perimeter practice problem. You're going to start off by putting practice problem at the top for the title, which number it is, and then you're going to say what is the perimeter of this shape. You're going to put a shape, any shape of your choice, choose some dimensions for the shape, and then on the right of that shape, you're going to do step by step how to solve it. And then you're going to put your answer in red. And here's another example for area. So instead of what is the perimeter of this shape, you're going to put what is the area of this shape. Okay, so I'm going to exit out of this full screen and then I will start to show you how to create your own. So up here, this little plus sign that creates a new slide. Okay, so you're going to type practice problem in the title bar, and this will be number 3 for me. Now you're going to type what is the perimeter of this shape when you do your perimeter practice problems. Oops. Now next, you can do any shape you'd like. For this example, I'm going to do a rectangle. So we're going to go up here to insert, and then you're going to go to shape. This first one right here will have all the shapes that you need. And you're going to choose rectangle. Now you just click and drag, and when you let go, your shape will appear. Now you have to add dimensions to this shape so you're able to solve the problem. So we're going to go back up to insert and we're going to go to text box and we're going to add a text box up here at the top and type in, let's do 12 for the length. And then highlight it and go up here to make it a little bit bigger. So let's enlarge the font size maybe to 24 so it's easier to see. And also, if you drag this text box around, you can center it when that red line appears. And then to center the text, you highlight it and you go up here to align and you press this one that says center. Now we'll go back up to insert, choose another text box, put it right over here, and this will be the width. So make sure that the width is shorter than the length. Now let's type in 6. Highlight that, make it a bigger size. And you can again add in a 6 right here or a 12 down below, but you don't have to because you should know that these lengths are equal and that these widths are equal. So you don't have to add it in. Now we are going to shorten this text box so we can add another one right next to it. So we're going to go up to insert, text box again, and now we're going to insert text box, and now we're going to insert a text box to the right of our shape so we can solve the problem. So first we are going to type in the formula that we're going to be using. So since we are finding the perimeter of a rectangle, the formula is P, or perimeter, equals 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. And let's make this bigger so it's easier to see. All right, great. Now next we are going to say what the length is and what the width is. So length, or L, equals, and make sure this L is a lowercase l, and W is a lowercase w. Okay, so length is 12, and the width 6. And below that, you're going to plug these numbers into your formula and solve. So 2 times 12 plus 2 times 6. We'll do step by step here. So 2 times 12 is 24, plus 2 times 6 is 12. So in the end, perimeter equals 36. And like I said, please highlight your answer and put it in red so then I know that it's the answer. So we'll go up here to text color and choose red. Okay, so that is the example of how to create your problem for perimeter. Now we are going to go back up here to the plus sign and add another slide, and I will show you how to do one for area. Again, for the title, you will type practice problem and put the number of the practice problem you're doing. So in this case, number 4. Again, we will do what is the area of the shape. This time you're going to be doing area. Okay. And for this problem, I'm going to be doing a triangle. So we'll go back up to insert, back down to shape, and click on triangle. Now let me drag this shape over a little bit to the middle. And again, we will use the text box, insert text box, to add our dimensions. Now here's one side. This is going to be 14. Make this a little bit bigger. And like I said before, you can drag this box until it is center. That red line appears. And you can insert another text box on the other side if you'd like, but we should know that these sides are going to be equal. But you can do it anyways, just to be safe. All right, there we go. And down at the bottom, this is going to be a different length. Make sure that this is a smaller number because this length is going to be shorter. So we are going to put in 7 for this one. And make sure it's center. Highlight this number, go up to align, and choose center again. Okay. So if you remember with area, usually with the calculations, you're going to need a height. So we're going to go back up to insert and choose line. Now you're going to start at the very top of the shape that you are using and drag all the way down to the bottom of the shape, because that will represent the height. And we're going to go back up to insert text box and put in a dimension for the height. In this case, it's going to be 12 because it has to be shorter than these sides. And we will make this bigger so it's easier to see. Oops. Now, if this happens where there's one number on top of the other, it just means your text box is too small, so just drag it over and make it a little bit bigger. Okay, so now that we have our dimensions, we're going to make this text box smaller and add a new one to solve our problem. So now let's go right here, add a new one, make the font bigger again so it's easier to see. And I'd appreciate if you use 24 for all of this. I think that's a good size where you can fit everything on the slide. Okay, so we're going to start off with the formula again. A, or area, equals 1/2 times base times height. And we are going to say what our base and height are. So remember, make sure these are lowercase. The base equals 7. And the height equals 12. So now that we have our dimensions plugged in there, we're going to put them into the formula. A equals 1/2. Base is 7, so we'll do times 7, and height is 12, so times 12. Now do the multiplication, and you will get your answer. 1/2 times 7 times 12 will equal 42. And again, make sure you put your answer in red by highlighting it, going up to text color, and choosing red. Okay, so that is how you create the practice problems. In the end, it should look like this. You should have 4 problems all together, 2 for perimeter and 2 for area. Make sure that you have the shapes on each slide. Try and do a couple different shapes, not all the same. And make sure you have your work on the right side of the slide and your answer in red. Please do not use the examples I have given you. You can use the same shapes and the same formulas. Please choose different dimensions and do not copy it exactly, or you will not get any points for your work. Okay, good luck on these practice problems, and read through these slides on your own to help you prepare for the next activities.